Hello children, today we are going to study about fertilization. Fertilization means it is the fusion of spermatozoa which is haploid plus ovum that is which is also haploid to form a zygote that is diploid. That means fertilization is a fusion of spermatozoa which is haploid and ovum which is also haploid to produce a diploid zygote. This is not that much of simple process. Actually, the spermatozoa has to reach at the site of fertilization. Where is the site of fertilization? The site of fertilization is in the ampullary isthmus junction, that is in the fallopian tube. Okay, so there are various steps, multiple steps involved in this process. Let us study one by one. The first is approach of spermatozoa. Approach of spermatozoa. The spermatozoas are deposited in the vagina by coitus. This process is known as insemination. This spermatozoa has to travel a long distance from vagina to the fallopian tube. That is, it has to cross vagina, then cervix, then uterus, and ultimately they has to reach up to the fallopian tube. On their way, there are so many barriers they have to face. Let us study what are the barriers. The first barrier, that is barriers. The first barrier, acidic pH of female reproductive tract. First is the acidic pH. The acidic pH of female reproductive tract damage or kill some of the spermatozoa. Now, and second is phagocytes. Phagocyte engulfs some of the spermatozoa. Third is thick endometrial tissue. So what is this endometrial tissue? It is the innermost layer of the uterus. The thick endometrial tissues also act as a barrier for the movement of spermatozoa. In one ejaculation, during the process of fertilization, in one ejaculation, near about 3 to 3.5 ml of semen is deposited in the vagina. And in this semen, near about 200 to 300 million spermatozoas are present. Okay, 200 to 300 million spermatozoas are present. But due to this barrier, only a few hundreds of spermatozoa can able to reach up to the fallopian tube. Okay, now as it moves towards the egg, in the female reproductive tract, the spermatozoa shows certain change. That change is known as capaciation. That is known as capaciation. So what is capaciation? Capaciation is a process in which spermatozoa attain functional maturity. So what is that? It is spermatozoa attain functional maturity. So this process happens as the spermatozoa travel or move in the reproductive tract of females. Okay. Now we will see what are the changes which takes place in this process. The first is removal of glycoprotein proteins and glycerol, or you can say the sterols. Glycoproteins and sterols. So from where? From the membrane of acrosome. Okay. You know, you have studied that the head of the spermatozoa is having a cap at the top of it, and it is covered by a membrane. It is covered by a membrane. This membrane is having certain glycoproteins and sterol. As the spermatozoa move through the reproductive tract of the female reproductive tract secretes a chemical which removes this glycoprotein and sterol and makes the membrane thin and permeable, so that they can easily break, and this is the acrosome, so that they can easily break and sperm lysins can be released. Okay, this is the first change. Next, second is influx of calcium ion. This spermatozoa also absorbs calcium ion, which helps to activate the spermatozoa. Okay, now these are the two steps by which the spermatozoa attain functional maturity. Okay, so that process is known as capaciation. So now it reached up to the site of fertilization, that is in the fallopian tube, and the secondary oocyte is there and spermatozoa is also there. What is the next step? The next step is, the second step is fertilin anti-fertilin reaction. This is the second process. The first process is approach of spermatozoa. Next is fertilin and anti-fertilin, we can say fertilin anti-fertilin reaction. It is actually, it's not a reaction, it is an identification. The spermatozoa identify the ovum. Okay, so before starting this topic, I would like to draw the structure of the secondary oocyte. So you know, this is the structure of the secondary oocyte, and it is having an outer membrane which is known as zona pellucida. This is the zona pellucida. Okay, and here there is a cell which is known as the polar body, and here you can see some small follicular cells. These follicular cells are known as corona radiata. Corona radiata, and this membrane is known as zona pellucida. This is the zona pellucida, and this is polar nuclei. This is the polar nuclei. So this is the secondary oocyte. This is a secondary oocyte. How the secondary oocyte is formed? If you remember, students, we have studied in oogenesis. This is the primary oocyte, primary oocyte, it undergo or it completes its meiosis 1. When meiosis 1 is completed, it forms secondary oocyte and a polar body. That is, this is the secondary oocyte and this is the polar body. Okay, and now the polar body, where this polar body is located, that pole is known as animal pole. That pole is known as animal pole, and the opposite pole is known as vegetal pole. And the opposite pole is known as vegetal pole. Animal pole and vegetal pole. Animal pole is the region where the spermatozoa enters. The spermatozoa enter in the secondary oocyte through this animal pole. Okay. Now, what happens in fertilin-antifertilin reaction? In this, the fertilin is a chemical which is secreted by the secondary oocyte. Suppose this is a chemical which is secreted by the secondary oocytes. So we can write here it as fertilin. This fertilin is having certain sites. This site is known as spermophilic site. Spermophilic site. Antifertilin is secreted by the spermatozoa. So the spermatozoa attaches with this site, that is spermophilic site. So this is the spermatozoa. It attaches at the spermophilic site of the fertilin. Okay. Now this reaction is known as fertilin-antifertilin reaction. So again the number of the spermatozoa is again reduced. So what is the next step? You know that by a process of capacitation, the membrane of the spermatozoa or the membrane which covers the acrosome is become very thin. Now it is ready to break. And the next step is, the third step is release of sperm lysine. So when the acrosome membrane breaks, it releases sperm lysine. There are three types of sperm lysine. First is corona penetrating enzyme. Corona penetrating enzyme. Second is hyaluronidase enzyme. Third is acrosin. These are the three types of sperm lysine released from the acrosome. Now what happened? The corona penetrating enzyme, this is the corona radiator, it penetrates that region. So it penetrates this region, okay, with the help of this enzyme, corona penetrating enzyme. After that, there is hyaluronidase. Actually, these corona radiators are formed from some follicular cells. It is glued with a gelatinous glue. That gelatinous glue is made up of hyaluronic acid. So this hyaluronidase enzyme break or dissolve that hyaluronic acid and allow the spermatozoa to reach at the zona pellucida. Okay. Now the third enzyme is acrosin. Acrosin dissolve the zona pellucida and enter into the membrane of the secondary oocyte. So here you can see like this, these membranes are dissolved and the spermatozoa now reaches towards the membrane of the secondary oocyte. Okay, so this is known as release of sperm lysine, and in this process they break the two layers, that is corona radiata and zona pellucida, and they are proceeding towards the membrane of the secondary oocyte. What is the next step? This is the third step. Fourth is formation of fertilization cone. Formation of fertilization cone. What is it? Now, actually the spermatozoa always enter from where? From the animal pole. So we can draw here the structure. Okay. Now, what is a formation of fertilization cone? You know, this is the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte. Let me draw here like this. Okay. This is the plasma membrane. Okay. As the spermatozoa reaches towards the plasma membrane, this region attain a conical shape. It will form a conical shape. This is the membrane of secondary oocyte. Okay. It forms a conical shape. Why this conical shape is formed? This conical shape is to attract the spermatozoa. Now, as soon as this spermatozoa touches with this membrane, okay, just draw like this. When this spermatozoa touches with this membrane, this is the membrane of secondary oocyte, this is the membrane of spermatozoa. It triggers the completion of second meiosis. We have studied in oogenesis what? That secondary oocyte, this is the secondary oocyte. The secondary oocyte completes its meiosis II when spermatozoa penetrates or touches with the membrane of the secondary oocyte. So this secondary oocyte is converted into ovum. So we can write here this is secondary oocyte is converted into ovum or ootid. It can either be known as ootid and second polar body is formed. This we have studied. So when the second meiosis completes, as soon as the spermatozoa touches the membrane of the secondary oocyte, okay, simultaneously what happened? It triggers this completion of the second meiosis. And along with that, you know, suppose this is the corona radiata. Here you can see the corona radiata and this is zona pellucida. This is the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida. Okay. Now, there is two processes simultaneously takes place. What? That is the first, completion of the meiosis II. Second, cortical reaction. Fifth step, that is known as cortical reaction. So what is cortical reaction? Here there are certain granules are present, cortical granules, where in the cytoplasm of the secondary oocyte. Let me show here. This cortical granule attaches with this membrane. Let us draw here. This granules attaches with the membrane and it releases its content into this region. Okay, as it releases its content into that is in the region between the zona pellucida and the membrane of the secondary oocyte, it increases the thickness of the zona pellucida and thus preventing other sperm or spermatozoa to reach near the plasma membrane of the secondary oocyte. So we can say it prevents polyspermy. It prevents polyspermy. Okay, polyspermy is prevented by cortical reaction. Is it clear? Now, what is the next step? The next step is, sixth one we can write here, that is fusion of gametic nuclei. Fusion of gametic nuclei. Now you see here, as I told you, as soon as the spermatozoa touches with the membrane of the secondary oocyte, second meiosis is completed and ovum and a second polar body is formed. So this is the, we can say this is the nuclei of secondary oocyte, or you can say otid, okay, and now this is the nuclei of spermatozoa. So it is also haploid, nuclei of sperm, okay. When this come together, it will fuses with each other to form a diploid nuclei, So this finishes the fertilization, okay. So the nuclei of the spermatozoa and the nuclei of the otid fuses to form a diploid nuclei, thus making a zygote, a cell that is known as zygote. So here finishes the fertilization. So after that, what happened? This zygote undergo a process known as cleavage. So let us study how the process of cleavage takes place. Now we have studied how the zygote is formed. Now we will study the cleavage of zygote. Now here you can see the zygote is having outer layer corona radiata, and the inner membrane is known as the zona pellucida, and this is the membrane of the zygote, and this is the diploid nuclei. This diploid zygote undergo first cleavage. First cleavage starts from animal pole to the vegetal pole. So what is the animal pole? Where the polar bodies are present. That is where you can say the spermatozoa penetrate or enter into the secondary oocyte. That region is known as the animal pole, okay. Now from that pole to the opposite pole, that is the vegetal pole, that is, this is the animal pole, this is the vegetal pole. Like this, the first division takes place and it forms two cells that is known as the blastomeres, okay. One of the blastomere is larger, another blastomere is smaller. This two blastomeres division is indeterminate, that means their fate is not determined, and these two blastomeres can develops into a embryo. Suppose this can directly give rise to an embryo, this cell can also give rise to an embryo. If a complete division takes place from this region, so what happened? Identical twins are formed. So monozygotic twins are formed by the complete splitting of this blastomeres, okay. And if it is not splitted or it is not separated, it will develop into a single individual. This is how monozygotic twins are formed. Next, after that, this two-celled stage, the formation, one thing more I have to tell you, that the formation of two-celled stage takes place after, means 30 hours after fertilization. Now after that, this two-celled stage again divide into four-celled stage. In this division, first of all, the bigger cell, bigger blastomere undergo first division, making a three-cell stage. Soon it undergo again, the smaller cell also undergo a division to form a four-celled stage. After that, this four-celled stage is again divided into eight-celled stage. So when this four-cell stage is formed 60 hours after fertilization, and 8-cell stage is formed 72 hours after fertilization. Again the 8-cell stage is converted into 16-cell stage, which is also known as the morula. Now here all this, here you can see in this 2-cell stage also you can see the corona radiata. Here also you can see corona radiata. Here you can see corona radiata. Here also you can see the corona radiata. Now all these things, that is from the zygote to morula, it takes place inside the fallopian tube. It keeps on moving from the fallopian tube towards the uterus, okay. as it enter, at this stage, it enter into the uterus. At that time, corona radiators are removed and a compaction process takes place. What is compaction? That is rearrangement of this blastomere cells. The rearrangement of blastomere cells takes place. You can see smaller cells are arranged towards the peripheral region and the bigger cells are arranged in the central region. This is known as rearrangement or compaction, and the blastomeres are compactly packed. Okay, now it enter into the, now it is floating in the uterus. Uterus is having nutrient. Okay, so it absorbs nutrient, and as it absorbs nutrient, what happen? The size of the cell enlarges. The size of this cell enlarges. See the size of from zygote to morula. The overall size of these cells are exactly similar, but the blastomere size means their size reduces from one cell to the other. Okay, so as soon as it absorbs the nutrient from the uterus, the size of the cell increases and there a cavity is formed. That cavity is known as blastocele. Okay, now the peripheral cells now become flatter and longer. That cell is known as trophoblast. This cell secrete an enzyme and dissolve the zona pellucida. This is zona pellucida, and as the zona pellucida is removed, now it is ready to get implant into the uterus. Now, why the zona pellucida is there in the fallopian tube? The reason is that zona pellucida ensures their implantation in the uterus. Suppose zona pellucida is removed in the fallopian tube, what happens? There is a chances of implantation in the fallopian tube. Okay, that is very dangerous. This process is known as ectopic pregnancy. Okay, so in order to prevent that ectopic pregnancy, the zona pellucida only removes in the uterus. Okay, so the removal takes place by the enzymes released from the trophoblast. Now, a cavity is formed that is known as blastocele, and it is filled with nutrient medium. And the blastomeres are pushed towards one side, and this acts as a inner cell mass, or other name is there, that is known as embryonic knob. The opposite side of embryonic knob is known as abembryonic knob. The trophoblast, which is in touch with the inner cell mass, is known as Rober's cell. Okay. Now, actually, implantation takes place at this blastocyst stage. Okay, let us see clipping of this process. Now you can see the diagram of fallopian tube as well as ovary, a part of a uterus. Now in the ovary you can see that ovulation is taking place and the secondary oocyte is released. This secondary oocyte in the 0 day, that means on the 14th day, spermatozoas are present around the secondary oocyte. So fertilization, fusion of spermatozoa and ovum took place and zygote is formed. This zygote undergo cleavage. In the second day it forms the 2-celled stage. After that, in the 3 and 4th day, 4-celled stage and 8-celled stage is formed. And in the 4th day it enter into the uterus. Okay, compaction process completed. That means the smaller cells are arranged in the peripheral region and the larger cells are present in the center region. In the uterus, due to the absorption of the nutrient, the cell is pushed towards one side and a cavity known as blastocele is formed, and the cell towards one side is known as the inner cell mass. This inner cell mass only develops into an embryo. Okay. Now you can see a white layer around the this blastocyst that get dissolved, that is known as zona pellucida. This zona pellucida is removed and then on 8th to 9th day it get implanted in the uterus. After fertilization, that is in the 8th and 9th day after fertilization only implantation takes place. Okay? I hope you might have understood this fertilization, process of fertilization and cleavage of zygote. In the next class we will be studying about the development of embryo. Okay? Thank you.